How to achieve problem-solution fit in 3 steps, coming up. In the last video, I talked about problem-solution fit and the common mistakes done during this phase, like focusing on customers' needs instead of their jobs to be done, mixing the problem fit with the solution fit way too early, and being stuck in analysis paralysis. But how can we achieve problem-solution fit? Well, you can do that with the following 3 steps. Step number 1, you will have to discover and start building your value proposition. The main components of the value proposition are the jobs to be done, pain points when getting the job done, solution to solve these pain points, and obviously the value this solution brings to the customer. You have 2 ways to get started with this. Either start with a defined problem and explore adequate solution for it, or start with a solution, a technology for example, and explore possible application. Now hold on a second. I thought we should always start with a problem and ideate for a solution. Well, this is incorrect, because regardless of how you started, your goal is to formulate a value proposition that you can validate with potential customers. A good example of a solution-based value proposition is the famous milkshake story. The starting point was a milkshake that was doing bad in sales. The exploration was to find who is out there that requires a milkshake to get the job done. And it turned out that those who had a long and boring drive to work found the milkshake the right product to hire. When you start building your value proposition, not all information will be available, and this requires you to start exploring. You can do this by Googling the topic, talking to your friends, observing the process, and so on. And what you're trying to do is collect information about the job, the pain points, the solution, in order to formulate a value proposition. Once you formulate a value proposition, then it's time for the second step where you need to convert and break down your value proposition into clear hypothesis statements. Every single point in your value proposition is simply a hypothesis which needs to be validated. Every single point. Some points have been validated by other businesses, which could be an easy pass for you to rely on the validation results. However, you need to be careful with such assumptions because every value proposition is unique, and you might have to revalidate some of these points on your own. A hypothesis is a causal statement with a condition and a quantified measurement of each point in your value proposition. The condition can be a specific group of customers, a specific region, a specific time, and so on. And the quantified measurement is the threshold which helps you prove hypotheses right or wrong. For example, if we say 70% of people working from home use food delivery for lunch, when we test the hypothesis and find out that it's only 20% of the people use food delivery, then it's a sign that our main hypothesis is wrong, and we need to use this new insight to decide whether the value proposition is still valid or not. Once the hypothesis statements are formulated, then it's time for the third step, where we need to test these hypotheses. I hate to tell you this, but prototypes are overrated. I mean, it's not really overrated, it's just misused. Many people think every venture requires a prototype, and this is not correct. What you require is a method to test your hypothesis, and prototypes are not always feasible. You can test hypotheses with interviews, surveys, observation sessions. You can even put yourself in the customer's role to validate social and emotional jobs. The most important point here is to split your value proposition and start validating the problem and the solution separately. You can validate the job and the problem with potential customers without having to validate the solution with them. And you do that to make sure that the job and the problem exist and the customers care about them. On the other hand, you can validate the solution with technical suppliers in order to make sure that the solution exists and it can deliver the value expected. If you mix both, you will end up asking ice cream questions, and this will not help your validation process. Once you validate all thresholds and answer all these questions, then you have achieved a problem fit based on customers' insights and a solution fit based on suppliers' feedback. I hope you found this informative. If you learned anything from this video, then make sure you like and follow for more. Thanks for watching.